Very good. The R.C. Harris water filtration plant. Now here's an even tougher question for you. Remember his answer. Who was the plant named after? He was quite a visionary, Mr. Harris, and he saw the city growing, predicted we need a larger facility, and proposed the construction of this site around 1913 or so. Construction wasn't actually completed though until about 1941. It took a long time from him having the idea to actual getting the place finished. Now, to be fair, there was World War I and II thrown in there and a depression, but eventually he got the place done, actually with no budget. He just went ahead and did it, apparently. Construction was started around 33, I believe, finished in 41. But that also included having somewhere to send the water to. They had to build an infrastructure of pipes and reservoirs going up into the city. And at the time, they wanted to call the plant the Harris plant, and he wouldn't let them. So it was called the Victoria Park pumping station or water treatment plant, I believe. And it wasn't until he died in 1945 that they changed the name to the Harris facility. We don't need very much water. No one's watering their lawns. They're filling up swimming pools now. It's cooler weather. We have a Y-shaped pipe out in the lake, about 3 kilometers out. At the bottom, about 20 meters down, water arrives in the plant. It's chlorinated, then pumped up the hill with the addition of an additional chemical called alum. Alum tanks, and they feed down by gravity to 2 of the injectors. The third one's the backup. So if this doesn't work though, there's other ways of adding alum besides the injector, but this is the best way to do it. All the suspended impurities in the water will bump together and stick because of the alum. Forms a whole new substance called FLOC, F-L-O-C. That sinks down to the bottom of a tank. Then we filter the water, chlorinate it, take out the chlorine, add a bit of fluoride, and away it goes. Okay, everybody, we've got a little teeny tiny elevator. It would take about 2 weeks to get everybody up. So we're going to go up the scary stairs. Here we go. One at a time, please. Harris had in mind when he made this grand structure, he wanted the people to come through. So that's basically been the mentality. But today it's more of a public education thing. That we want the public, we meaning the Works Department, City of Toronto, we want the public to know where the water comes from and basically why they should conserve it. Now the reason we have settling basins is, remember with the flock that's formed from the alum, it has to go somewhere, doesn't it? Once that gets heavy and sinks down, it will sink down to the floors of these settling basins. This year we'll take through approximately 4,000 people through the facility. I'm not sure how many tours that breaks down to. It would be primarily school groups. There's an age minimum. It's generally ages 10 and up, although we'll make exceptions sometimes. The tours last about an hour, and at the end of it, the kids are most enthusiastic. They've learned where their water comes from and why they should conserve it. And we have good turnaround. The schools come back year after year now once they see what a great program this is for their students. The architecture lends itself to blending and creating all sorts of different things. There's a site we'll go to upstairs that has a tall clock tower that looks very much like a train station. So we've had film crews come in and build small cafeterias beside this clock tower and turn it into a train station. We've also had, as I recall, at least one episode of X-Files done here in one of our filter galleries, the one where there's some sort of a creature living in the sewers just coming out and being evil and then goes back into the water. I don't believe he's there anymore, although there have been a few sightings. Now most of that flock stays outside under the ground. A bit gets in here and sinks to the top of the filter. I get a great deal of pleasure out of, through the education system. I enjoy educating primarily children, but anybody who's interested. And it makes me happy to see a group of school kids come away with an understanding of why our water is wonderful and how to conserve it. And if they're happy, then I'm happy.
Next step is I've got